Okay, so the car is guessing down here that we're going to go 43 kilometers on electric mode. I can't figure out how to show the tripometer and how to reset it, so I need to do that. Okay, I found it. This button right here, tripometer, if we push it, it switches to total kilometers on the car, 405, trip A, which I've reset, and trip B, which I've reset. All right, let's do this. Just to note for the new people who've never watched any of my tests with the Outlander, we are running with no heating or air conditioning on. Put the window down, you know, if you want a little bit of air. We're not running with anything that's going to drain the battery other than moving the car. And I try to mix it up with a good mix of usually between 50 and 60 kilometers is going to be most of it, but we will do a bit of between 70 and 80. There's a 10-minute stretch there that we'll do that as well. We'll just see how far we can go. It's so strange to me to feel this thing shifting when it's in electric mode. And I keep looking like, is the car on? Is the engine running? No. This car does seem to go through electric battery without the engine ever starting. My Outlander will not do that. Not at this stage in its life. Up until it was 4 years old, it would. But then the batteries, over time, they degraded, and I don't even want to talk about that car right now. Except to give you guys one final update, which is that I got a call back this afternoon that now they are going to be looking at the lithium battery in that car. Because I told them to go ahead and put a starting battery in there. They did it. The tech drove the car for a couple hours, and all the warning lights came back up again. Guys, I told them a month ago that it was the lithium battery. They knew that. They just, anything they can do to not have to replace that battery, right? But that's for another video. But for now, I've still got the rental. And the next step they told me is that they're going to start looking at this lithium battery. I still have 3 years warranty on the car, so fingers are crossed, and I'm feeling really good that they're going to be replacing the drive battery in that car. I will be trying as much as possible to keep that in the coasting zone. In the Outlander, we would put this in braking zero mode, but I'm going to get it up to about 60 kilometers an hour, and then we're going to keep it locked over here in that coasting zone. This car does have 320 horse in it, so it will go. It has sport mode. We're not using any of that stuff right now. Towing mode, we will do some tests with that as well, guys. But for now, this is just a straight, how far can we go in electric mode? All right, speed limit here is 80, so we're gonna do our 10 minutes on this highway. Yeah, this car, I can tell right away, does not coast like the Outlander, where I could just take my foot off the gas and really stretch that mileage. This car is continually losing speed. So if you want to coast at 80, you've got to get it up above 80. As soon as I take my foot off the gas, we start losing speed. So there really is no coasting option here. Even though we can take our foot off and keep it in that in-between zone, the car is immediately losing speed. You feel it slowing down. Where when I take my foot off the gas in the Outlander, it just continues to coast. And it goes and goes and goes. And that's how I really extend my range in that car. This car feels like you have to keep your foot on the gas, drawing battery power out to keep it moving at the speed limit. I'm actually doing 8 under the speed limit right now because I was trying to coast. It's not working. A big part of driving these EVs is noticing well beforehand that the light up here turned red, and don't accelerate right to the light. You just, you want to coast up to it, recharging the whole time, and you want to time it so that when we get here, we're still moving. That was like pretty much perfect. Now we just gently accelerate. We didn't waste any energy. And if you do that, teach yourself to drive like that, for every light, you're maximizing your electric range. Driving the plug-in hybrid is a commitment, and it's not for everybody. I saw people actually complaining. They bought this car, and then they were complaining about having to charge it every day. Well, you just don't get it. If you're going to complain about that, that's the whole point. The whole point is you should be trying to charge this multiple times a day. If you can, charge it at your house. When you get to work, plug it in and charge it again. So when you go home, you've got another full 40 or 50 kilometers. That's how you maximize the use and range of this car. Like I say, I was getting 2,000 kilometers a month in the Outlander when I drove it every day, and it was costing me $27 in electricity. So I am maximizing the range and how much I'm going to save over the life of this car. The second thing you'll notice with these cars, when you're doing the speed limit, you'll have a bunch of people that will line up behind you because nobody likes doing the speed limit. Oh, I learned about that when I first got the Outlander. The road rage these cars doing the speed limit can invoke in others, it's a real thing. I actually find driving the PHEV and doing the speed limit relaxing. And now, with the new car, which has the cruise control that adapts to the speed of the guy in front of you, my last little bit of road rage, which is, why is that guy constantly slowing down, is going to dissipate, hopefully. And I won't even notice. It seems like I'm always following that old guy that can't hold a speed limit. And in our last car, we opted not to take that option of the adaptive cruise control, and I swore, never again. Okay, we're actually going down a pretty big hill here, so I'm just gonna coast. Let's see if we can regen a kilometer by the time we get to the bottom of this hill. We're at 35 kilometers. It's downhill for quite a ways, but we're really losing speed in the Mazda. In fact, I think I'm gonna have to, there's nobody behind me, but we lost 20 kilometers there. And we did not gain a kilometer back. So I have to speed up. I can't do 50 in an 80. So as I've always said before, and we learned years ago, the best way to extend your range is going to be coasting. And this car that's not an option with this car. So I can't see how I'm going to get the kilometers I used to get out of the Outlander. But let's finish the test and then we'll see. Something else I want to do to make this test more accurate is to run the PHEV Watchdog app. And I believe it will work with this Mazda. We just have to put the dongle in here and we should get all the stats. I believe it works. I'll figure that out over time, but that will allow us to track exactly how far we went, the maximum speed, minimum, the amount we regened, all of that stuff. But for this first test, I'm just trying to get a general idea. I just thought of something that's kind of important, and I don't know. There's one button here that I don't know what it does. Is there a save button to save our electricity when we're on the highway and we don't want to use it? That's very important. So this car does have a wireless charging port for your phone actually as well. Phone is charging. We are coming to the end of our highway test. 16 kilometers, between 70 and 80 kilometers an hour. So now we're going to be entering the regular stop and go city traffic. So I can tell you guys right now at this point, we've driven 17 kilometers and the car is saying that we've only used 10. So we've gotten 7 more than the gasometer was thinking we were going to get. So you can see 17.2 we've driven, and that's saying that we've used 10 from what we started with. So even though I can't coast in this car, we're still getting better range than what it's saying we were going to get. That's good. And that should be the worst part of the test right there, you know, doing 80 kilometers an hour on the highway. I have no idea what the range in terms of speed this car will do in electric. The Outlander will do up to 120 kilometers an hour in straight electric. in all of this section here that's 50 kilometers, I'm actually doing 60 kilometers an hour. So I'm actually doing more in some areas than the speed limit. 50 just seems pretty slow. So I'm going to say that most of the time we're running this car in electric mode, you're going to be between 60 and 80 kilometers an hour. And the gasometer finally just dropped 1 more kilometer there right now. We've come another 3. So the range is going to be crazy good, I think. It really is surprising me how much it doesn't coast, though. There is no coast to this car. Even when you're sitting in that zone where it's not drawing or regenning, your speed limit, your speed just, it's dropping. I know this is a heavy vehicle, guys. I think it's 5,000 pounds. Gary's physics mindset would say, hey, that should lead great to coasting. It just doesn't. There is no coast. When that needle is sitting at the neutral position down there, we're not drawing from the battery, we're not regenning to the battery, the car immediately starts slowing down. I could only imagine how fantastic the range would be in this car if we could just coast. We are half an hour into this test, and I'm still showing 31 kilometers of EV range. I figured it was going to take me a couple hours of driving around. So we are regenning between each set of lights. I'm just letting the car slow down and do its thing. I have it set on normal regenerative braking. There's 2 options in this car, high and normal. I don't want to put it on high. The car already slows down more than I'd like just being on normal mode. So that red line right there is showing you guys what the speed limit is. You can see it up there on the dash. I don't know if you can see, but it shows you how fast I'm going, 52, and the speed limit is 50. I am super surprised at how many Mazda, there goes one right there, CX50s, 70s, and 90s I am now passing and aware. I never noticed this car before we started looking. All of this came about because the Outlander went in the shop and Carrie got the rental, and we needed a second car, so she rented a second car, and it happened to be a CX90. It was the inline 6. And she said, man, I really like that car. She doesn't get too excited about cars. I have never owned a car this luxurious, guys, or expensive for that matter. But I mean, at our stage in life, you know what? I can't tell my wife, no, you can't have what you want. And I'm happy that she's excited about this vehicle for the first time ever. She usually does not get excited about vehicles. I'm the one who gets excited about tech and vehicles and all the cool new features and things. And she's actually pretty excited. So I'm happy for her to be excited, and I'm happy that this was the choice. I think this is going to be a good car. I love the plug-in hybrid tech, and I think that, as I've shown over the years, you want to maximize your saving. And it's not just about the savings. You know, it is about saving emissions as well, guys. We talk about that a little bit in the other channel, the other video series. We can do calculations to see how much CO2 we're not putting out. You know, this car has not started now. It's been 45 minutes I've been driving, and it's still in EV mode. So that is awesome. It's answering one of the questions I had, which is, will it stay in EV mode without the engine running? The Mitsubishi Outlander just won't do that anymore, and it's frustrating. Something else I've noticed about this car, and I'm just going to throw it out here, is it does not handle like the big bus that it is. The turning radius on this thing is amazing. It feels more like my little cross track or something like that. Like, it really, we just turned around in 2 lanes there. I didn't have to do a 3-point turn or anything. It's quite impressive. So we are 50 minutes into this test, and I've just hit 34 kilometers. That would be the end of the electric in the Outlander at this point. I can't baby any more out of it. That's what I get now, is just over 30 kilometers. But my battery in the Outlander is also showing that it only holds 65% of what it originally did at 7 years in, right? Which is another reason why I've been fighting with them, saying, hey, it shouldn't be that low if it's got a 10-year warranty. So now, keep in mind, the Mazda here only has a 7-year warranty on its battery. So does Mazda know something we don't? That 7 years is about all you're going to get out of these batteries? Well, if we're talking about what happened in the Outlander, yeah, that's exactly what happened. 7 years, and now it's in the shop waiting for a possible lithium battery replacement. I kind of want to do something here. I really want to tromp down on this and just see if the gas engine starts. We're in EV mode only, and I want to kind of see what the power is like. It'll kind of screw up our test here a little bit, guys, but I'm going to do it because we've already come 35 kilometers. It's still showing 23 on the gasometer. We know it's going to be a lot more than 23. I'm extending it all the time I'm driving it. So I'm going to turn around here, and there's a bit of a straight stretch going back here where there shouldn't be too much traffic, and I'm just going to see what happens if the gas engine starts. Okay, so nobody behind us. We're in EV mode. Let's just tromp it down. Wow, that's just electric. That was impressive. Oh wait, was it? I have to look at that. I'll have to play that back on the computer. Did that change out of EV mode? I need to do that again. That was impressive, but I think maybe the engine started. I don't know. It didn't show me anywhere that the engine started. Okay, so I'm actually going to head out here to the highway, and we'll try that again on the highway. And I'm going to watch in the lower left side of the screen because it's saying EV and drive mode. So I'm going to watch that screen right there when we redo that and see if it changes and shows something different. So I know that's kind of screwing up our distance test a little bit, guys. But it's showing that we're going to get over 60 kilometers on this battery, so that's even more than I could have hoped for. And I just want to see what other fun things this car does. That was really impressive. That was like V6 power right there when I took off. There's only a 2.5 liter in here, but you combine that with the electric engine, and I can put the stats up on the screen for what each of those have. I'm not even sure, I haven't looked, but I know combined there are 320 horse in this car. I wonder if the regenerative braking system in this car is that much improved over the old Outlander that maybe it warrants me doing a test. And just me thinking that is, yes, I'm going to have to do a test to see if the regen is better, faster, and, you know, makes it worth doing maybe in the new cars. Okay, we're going to be turning onto the highway right here, so I'm going to slow right down. Then we're going to look and we're going to take off hard here and see if the engine starts. Okay, we're ready for this, and here we go. Boost. No, it says boost. Okay, that is bloody hell impressive. I don't know, guys. If that's just electric, that's crazy. We're still showing 20 kilometers on the gasometer, and we've gone 40.2 kilometers. I can quite confidently say, guys, without even finishing this test, that if you are in stop and go traffic 50 to 60 kilometers an hour, you're going to get 60 kilometers plus in this car on battery power alone. I think we did like 15 kilometers on the highway, 80 kilometers an hour, a little bit more than 80, just under 80. So if you're not even doing that, I did that, and I'm going to get 60 kilometers out of this charge. My suspicions were right, though, that it, you know, going through the manual gearbox and not having the CVT and not having the ability to coast in B0 mode is affecting the range. Now, it might have in its favor a better regen system. I don't know. We can do a test and with the PHEV Watchdog app hooked up and see how much are we regenning over a certain distance. We can run that app in both cars. That would be a good scientific test right there. If I want this car to maintain its speed, so 47, that is how much I have to keep the needle above. As soon as we go down to the right, as soon as we hit right there, we're gonna start losing speed. So I have to keep it about there to maintain whatever speed we're at. That might be the most efficient that we can get. Okay, so an hour and 10 minutes we've been doing this test, and I've still got 16 kilometers to get through. For the remaining 15 kilometers, I'm gonna try to keep this at 60 kilometers an hour. And I'm kind of heading out of town, so I should be able to do that. We'll be around 60 or just over 60, and I'm gonna try to empty that 14 kilometers. And we'll see what we get. We're at 48 kilometers already traveled, guys, so. And really at this point, I'm just trying to burn out the last 15 kilometers so I can finish this test. I know that if we babied it, you know, we might get an extra 3, 4, 5 kilometers out of it. If we were coasting, guys, oh man, I can only imagine what we'd be getting in this car. I know I've said it numerous times on this trip, but oh no, the whole test is ruined. We've had the sunroof open the whole time. That's affecting our wind, our aerodynamic. Oh no, physics. There's got to be some physics involved there. How much range did we lose? I forgot this car's got the air-conditioned seats. Don't tell me you don't like it until you've tried it, boys. On a hot, sweaty day, you turn that thing on 3. Oh yeah! It's now dark. We've got 4 kilometers left. I'm just heading for home. I think I'm gonna make it home. It's gonna be close. And then I'll show you guys the final numbers for the first trip. How far did we make it? Place your bets now. We'll see what happens when this gets to 0. Does the engine start immediately? Okay, so it's showing no kilometers left, but we're still in EV mode. EV mode canceled. All right, 65.1 kilometers. Woo! Good first run. So just to note as well, we're at 20.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That is high. Like I say, in the Outlander, we would be down around 15 on a really good run. So my assumption that this car would not be as efficient because it's going through the gearbox and doesn't have a CVT, is a bigger, heavier vehicle, etc. That seems to be borne out here in the first test.